Alright, Ron and MMA, welcome back to the channel. Yesterday, the press conference for UFC 289 took place. I want to recap and react to it. Before we get into it, please like and subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, I shaved my face, okay? Yes, I look like an idiot, so roast me if you will, because...
champion and how tough that
He
is.
is a bomb of a thing. Don't mind him.
And also, though, I just want to talk about why I did this, okay? Because I lost a bet, and one that I was actually very happy to lose. Over a year ago, about 14 months ago, I had taken my test and the course required for a firearms license in Canada, and I was starting to lose hope that I was not going to get one because since the time I had taken that test, the Liberal government of Canada had banned the purchase, sale, or transfer of any handguns, which was annoying because I had paid for the restricted class course and got 98% on the test. So that was just completely pointless and a waste of time and money. And then they had introduced legislation to ban like another 250 firearms here in Canada, which would have left me with not a whole lot to purchase. So what I thought was going on was that they were going to stall out all new and recent applications until that legislation had passed. But fortunately for us, we have effective opposition to a certain degree here in Canada, and that bill got shut down for a bit. But then they've reintroduced it since then. But anyways, I made a bet. I didn't think I was going to get my license until they had banned, a ton of shit. And I got it before then, so I was pretty ecstatic. But I did have to shave my face. But I immediately went and purchased my first firearm, so I was pretty happy. So anyways, dude, that was a little tangent. Housekeeping over. Let's get right into it. UFC 289 press conference. Pretty fun. Also, I want to touch on this a little bit because I made that video yesterday regarding Vancouver, the city, and all the fighters talking about how beautiful it was. Obviously, I know there's nice parts in Vancouver, okay? And for all the people that got offended, like, just so born and raised 15 minutes outside the city for 27 years. And the reason why I'm so critical of it today is because I saw what it used to be, and I've seen it deteriorate over time, and I don't think that that's something you could argue. I think it's pretty clear that it has deteriorated. All of the nasty parts used to be subjugated to one area, whereas now it's kind of spread across, even into some of the nice parts. And, these guys aren't hanging out in Point Grey, right? They're not at Grouse Mountain. They're not at these nice places. They're 7 minutes away from East Hastings, right? They're at Rogers Arena. Okay, so that's why I was poking fun at them, because I know what the part of the city where they are at looks like. All right. And much like, I feel as though Canadians are kind of comparable to Australia in the sense that I can't stand either of our governments. I think that they're horrible and almost authoritarian, but the people are fun. And if you were somebody that regularly watched my channel and you watched my predictions video, you would have heard me say that I think Canadian fans are some of the most fun, and they love to get behind their guys and things like this. So it's not the people that I'm trying to shit on. I mean, maybe the people that elect the politics that destroy it, but for the most part, dude, I mean, again, like, I haven't met an Australian person that I didn't like, right? But if I had to base my opinion of them solely off of their government and how their government behaved over the last couple of years, I probably wouldn't like them all that much. It was memey, right? Of course, it was just fun. But either way, dude. Anyways, tangents over. UFC 289 press conference for the third time now, okay? Was all right. Obviously, there's not a whole lot of entertaining characters up on stage this time around. It wasn't really anything overly exciting. The face-offs were pretty interesting, and honestly, not even so much things that they said, but the certain demeanors of certain guys almost had me questioning some of my picks. Charles Oliveira looked extremely intense. He looks ready to go, and I know that he looks totally sucked in from the weight cut, but I think that this is kind of like a Brazilian curse, right? Jose Aldo used to look like absolute garbage while he'd be cutting weight. They have the high cheekbones, and when they get drawn out, when they draw out all their water, it sinks in. They look like a little crackheadish. But Charles Oliveira looked very intense. Beneil Dariush answers questions in some of the most boring ways ever, but I like the guy anyways. I think he's a good dude and a good role model for his children and all that fun stuff. But and Amanda Nunes, the one thing that I know, it's really strange to me that she seems to be okay with losing to a girl that isn't Juliana Pena. And now I think it is kind of funny because Juliana Pena sucks. And we know this. And I don't want to say that she got lucky when she beat Amanda Nunes, but if you look at the techniques she was using when she did beat Amanda Nunes, there was not a whole lot involved. I mean, her striking, we've been over this time and time again. She looks like she is like swimming through air, running down a hill with her eyes closed at the same time. Her striking is absolutely god awful. I don't know how she continued to tag Amanda on the feet. And even the choke that she had locked in was not even really under the chin. Amanda just gave up pretty quickly there. And then obviously came back and dominated her. And I think there was even a 50-42 scorecard on there at one point. But regardless, dude, it seems that she's like okay to lose her belt to a girl that isn't Juliana Pena, to a girl who is actually skilled, to a girl who actually has good technique and isn't just some like nasty brawler. Kind of like what it reminds me of is like George St. Pierre losing his belt to Matt Serra. There's no world in which that should have happened, but it did. And and then he comes back and dominates. So that's kind of what it reminds me of. She seems very she seems confident but less arrogant than she did for the first Juliana Pena fight. If I'm like based on the press conference or the interactions they had at the press conference, she was very with the Juliana Pena the first time around, she was very dismissive of her. She seemed extremely arrogant. Her and Valentina Shevchenko kind of had that in common. Once they've had a certain amount of title defenses, they probably were drinking their own Kool-Aid, thinking nobody's going to beat them ever, and why should I even worry about this girl or consider what could possibly happen. And this time she seems very confident, but very much so less arrogant, which is probably a good thing. Irene Aldana, calm, cool as a cucumber. Kill or kill, not kill or be killed. She's ready to go. Who really cares though, dude? You know what? Charles Oliveira. There was a stat I saw yesterday. In his last 4 pay-per-views, maybe it was 5, 1.85 million, and I think that the average is a little under 500,000 pay-per-view sales every time he's the main event. I don't understand why they won't just like we should. I hate that the UFC has. They feel that they have to have a title fight as the main event, because I'll tell you what, dude. If this fight goes 3 rounds and we have to go to the judges' scorecards, I'm going to be really fucking upset that they did not make this a 5-round main event or even the 5-round co-main event. Charles Oliveira is an underrated pay-per-view seller. This fight is going to be incredible, and I wish that they were getting the spotlight as opposed to the women's bantamweight division, but whatever, dude, it is what it is. Something else that I want to touch on, Mike Malott. Dude fucking killed it at the press conference, okay? He had that crowd eating out of the palm of his hand. Now, to be fair, if you are a Canadian and you are in Canada, it's kind of like a cheat code. They're going to cheer no matter what the fuck you say. As I said earlier, they get behind their guys 100% of the time, no matter what. It doesn't even matter if you're French Canadian, if you're like, it doesn't matter what province you're from. If you're from Canada, they're going to get behind you. We saw this with George St. Pierre. Everybody fucking loved him. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But he was killing it because they were kind of tossing him quite a few questions, probably because they knew the reaction they would get from the crowd. And he was hyped up, yelling and going crazy and whatever. He's very family friendly. I don't think he swore one time or a single time. You know what I mean? And he was respectful of his opponent. He didn't really throw any jabs at him or anything like that. But he was working the crowd pretty good. He had them eating out of the palm of his hand. And I like the one moment where Adam Fugit was answering whatever about the booze, and he just goes, "My boys are rowdy." He's like stereotypical Canadian shit, and it was fun to watch. Also, there was, dude, I feel bad for Nate Landwehr because this is his first time being up on, main stage pay-per-view event, and had he had a different dance partner, he might have been able to shine a little bit more. Dan Ige fucking sucks at trash talk. With all due respect to Dan Ige, that guy fucking sucks. He's not even good at talking, like, at all. But then when it comes to trash talk, he just sounds like an absolute idiot. I thought it was hilarious when they asked Nate Landwehr how he thought he was going to beat Dan Ige. And, a lot of guys wouldn't answer that question, or they would be like, oh, you're going to have to fucking wait and see Saturday night. Or, I don't know, whatever happens, happens type shit. And Nate the Train just goes, I'm going to try to kick him in his head. I thought that was so fucking awesome. And then later on, the dumb fuck reporter asks, oh, well, is the first one to shoot a takedown, like, is the other one gonna have bragging rights over them? And Nate the Train's like, I'm gonna shoot real quick, I'm gonna take him down and submit him. And I like, yeah, you're gonna kick him in the head, but you're also gonna take him down and submit him. It was just, he's fucking with Dan Ige. Dan Ige sounds like an idiot when he tries to talk. I'm not trying to be shitty. I think he tried to trying to get some of that Hawaiian love that Canadians show sometimes, right? Like Max Holloway was absolutely fucking loved here. He always called it the 10th island or whatever it was, ninth island. I don't fucking remember. Either way, dude. Dan Ige don't have it. He just don't have it. You know what I mean? And it was funny too. There were a couple moments where he tried to like really pump up the fucking crowd. He stood up with the Vancouver Grizzly jerseys on, and then real quietly he's like, "No, this is actually my coach's jersey. I just stole it," and sat back down. It was weird, but whatever, dude. Face-offs were intense also. Irene Aldana looks very confident against Amanda Nunes. Amanda Nunes looks super confident also, though. Charles Oliveira just looks stone cold, dude. And Beneil Dariush, like, I mean, this was a refreshing press conference in the sense that you don't need a whole lot of trash talk to sell these fights, at least to the hardcore fans. Like, I know that won't work for, I just went to go touch my beard, whatever, dude. It won't work for the casual fans, but for me personally, I mean, it gives me less to talk about and less to react about, and it creates less viral moments and things like this. But if I'm being honest, I kind of like the quiet press conferences sometimes. Not because, like, I know they're not really entertaining, but I don't like when beef is manufactured or trash talk is manufactured. If there's guys that just truly respect each other, I would much rather see that than, you know, dudes like Justin Gaethje and Michael Johnson trying to trash talk back and forth, and one of them ends up saying that he likes to eat his shit whole. You know what I mean? I don't need that. I would rather see just, whatever, dude. And Charles Oliveira's had a few good quotes also. I know I think this came media day. It got brought up again at the press conference though, but the whole a wounded lion is still a lion type thing. It is strange that he's like completely unwilling to watch back the Islam Makhachev fight. But I don't really read too much into that. There's a lot of guys that don't watch tape, you know what I mean, or watch their old fights back, because then you focus too much. And Islam is a completely different opponent than Beneil Dariush, so like mistakes that he made in the Islam Makhachev fight aren't really going to be relevant to his fight with Beneil Dariush, at least in my opinion. Not like incredibly relevant, you know what I mean? So it is what it is. Honestly, I don't know how to make this entertaining. This was not a great fucking... In terms of entertainment value, horrible press conference. Even some of the questions that were asked weren't all that great, but whatever, dude. Yeah, it is what it is. Anyways, dude, today are the weigh-ins. If anything crazy happens, I will probably do a reaction to the weigh-ins also, talk about how bad people look. Because you know what, dude? Beneil Dariush looked fucking perfect. I mean, he said that, I believe he said on Media Day that he was going to water load for the rest of the day, and then he starts his cut tomorrow. So I think he was cutting weight at that time, or he was going to finish his water load, pardon me, and then he was going to start cutting weight. And he said he would do most of it. I think he does most of it today. He doesn't seem to cut like a fuck ton of weight. I don't know what he weighs naturally, but you could tell that Charles Oliveira is sucked in already. Mike Malott looked pretty good too. He didn't look overly sucked in. Adam Fugit, dude, these guys need to work on their fucking mic skills. You are never gonna get fat paychecks when you fucking talk like that, dude. Come on now. It's really unfortunate Nate the Train didn't have a better opponent to go back and forth with, because there was that one moment where it started, and then Danny Gay just went, "Oh, okay." Like, are we in third grade, dude? Come on, sell your fight a little bit. You know what I mean? And I know that's hypocritical because I just said that I don't like manufactured beef or whatever. But it's just they put Nate the Train up there because he is an entertainer. He has killed it on the mic in his last couple performances, and he just didn't really get the opportunity to because Dan Ige sucks at talking. But anyways, man, That's probably the end of this video. I can't think of any other fucking spectacular moments that happened. Okay, the one thing actually I will note, Dana White needs to stop promising people title fights if when he gets asked the question, he just says, I don't know, we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? Because if I was Beneil Dariush, I probably would have been a little bit triggered by that. But then when he was asked whether or not he was concerned about the answer that Dana White just gave, he gave probably the best possible answer to not piss off Dana White, which was not at all. You know what I mean? He seems to be very chill, good at rolling with the punches, all that good shit. Anyways, dude, like and subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. I don't know. I can't think of any other good moments at that press conference to talk about. It wasn't overly entertaining, as I've said now a couple times, but, you know. Anyways, dude, like and subscribe. Greatly appreciate it. See you at the next video. Bye-bye.